Welcome, my friends, to Salt Lake City. Here we have one of the best economies in the entire nation. We also have a labor shortage, so people are flocking here. Our real estate market is booming, and developers can't build apartments fast enough to meet the demand. We have tech jobs, service jobs, construction jobs, and we really need more skilled workers to meet the demand. And not to brag, but we in Utah are not only smart and wealthy, but we're also extremely compassionate. The LDS Church operates one of the largest philanthropic organizations in the world. And to top it all off, in 2015, we solved the problem of chronic homelessness thanks to an initiative called Housing First.
Salt Lake City, Utah has a plan that will blow your mind.
We did it by giving homes to homeless people.
You did what?
Since the story aired, the Homeless Task Force Director Lloyd Pendelton has turned into a bit of a celebrity.
Okay, so you gave a home to a homeless person, but that still makes them homeless.
No?
I spoke to one former officer who worked extensively in the area, and he said our leaders were, quote, spiking the football, declaring our victory over homelessness. But, he added, that was a mistake.
Know that they can get a second shot at life. All they have to do is live in Utah.
Last summer, our homeless population was surging. But not just that, the homeless were becoming more aggressive and violent. There were 4 murders in and around Pioneer Park in just 3 months. Here's how a local business owner, Pierre from Bruges Waffles, describes the problem.
Did you see a big rise in the number of homeless? I mean, you've been here how many years now?
I've been here, this is going to be my 9th year.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this whole story, but there was a national story going around that Salt Lake City had solved homelessness
Yeah,
in
I know
2000.
that story.
Yeah, you know that.
I know that story.
Did you see a
I've
big
heard that
rise
story.
in homelessness after that story
Yeah, I
became
think so.
popular?
Yeah, I think I don't know if I can make a correlation there, honestly, but you know, we've been through. Was that in 2015?
Yeah.
So
Lloyd
I'd say
Pendelton.
I've been struggling here for a year and 10 months or so, right? So so almost 2 years. So maybe there's a correlation, but it's maybe not. I mean.
So I've decided to go out to Pioneer Park in Rio Grande and witness the problem for myself. Now, Operation Rio Grande is a combined effort between the state and the county and the city to basically clean up the park and hopefully cure a lot of the problems that have risen in the last 2 years from what has been described as a crisis situation. Now, the way the mainstream media has covered this has been very much from the top down. We've heard from the political leaders, we've obviously heard from Lloyd Pendelton, but I decided it would be a good idea to cover this from the bottom up. I wanted to hear from the homeless people themselves, especially the chronically homeless, and find out what they think about Operation Rio Grande and why the homeless problem has become such a big problem in recent years. First group of people I'm speaking to are a married couple named Rick and Desiree, and they are both addicted to heroin and meth, as well as a 20-year-old meth addict named Missy, who had a lot to say about the treatment by the police. They chose to not go on camera for fear of repercussions and being targeted by the police.
Yeah, but you know what? They come through every day and throw everyone's stuff away.
Really?
Every single day.
They're your garbage or your things?
If you can't pick it up and carry it right then and there, that's
if you can't pick it up all at once, they're gonna throw it away.
No kidding. Huh.
That person is constantly moving their stuff. Constantly. They're 11. Move over there, then they come back here at 7 when the park opens, and they move it somewhere else and they come back.
So you guys have everything you own in your backpacks?
But they also have a storage that people could use, and I think they're trying to encourage people using the services they do have. I think that's most of what they're doing, is trying to get people to use the services.
That's not everything you own in that little bag, is it?
Yes, it is.
No way. Really?
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Don't be lying. I saw you with a different bag, girl. I call people out.
That's everything I own.
Everything.
Everything. The only reason I ever have a different bag is when I'm helping the county.
We're fortunate that we have, between my mom and dad's house, that, you know, we have access to. So we keep it with us accordingly. But at the most part. I mean, if somebody takes mine or her bag right now,
I'd cry.
It feels like you're losing everything you own, because this is everything I need for like a week. You know,
It's like someone's stealing your house.
Ben is a 38-year-old man, currently sober, but suffering from bipolar and schizophrenia. He says he's unable to get the proper meds to be treated, and his entire body is infected with body lice.
So this is caused by lice?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You see this?
That looks awful. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, that's terrible.
I live with this every day. I've had this for about 6 months now.
And what are you getting for it?
I was taking antibiotics for it, but it didn't do shit. Really, it didn't.
Jeez. And
my body is what's been fighting it off.
And that's caused that you can get that just by sitting on the sidewalk, right?
Yeah, you can. Or in the park. I heard that the body lice is in the park, in the grass. I mean, I'm bipolar schizophrenic. And
do you get meds out here?
I mean, I don't get the right meds. I have to go to 4th Street Clinic, and they get whatever cheap shit that they can give me, and they don't have the right stuff for me. Seroquel.
Seroquel?
And they give me Respiridol over here. It's cheaper, but I have side effects from it, and I won't take it. Now, if they would give me Seroquel, then I would take it, but they don't. They won't give me it because it's too expensive.
Huh.
And I don't have insurance, so.
What's your name?
My name's Ben.
Ben? Rich.
What's yours? Rich. Nice to meet you, Rich.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Thanks for talking to me, man.
Hey, no problem, man.
So Ben and a lot of the homeless people I spoke to realized that something had to be done in and around Pioneer Park in Rio Grande. But the question was, why were the homeless people coming here in the first place? Now, there's a big building boom going on in Salt Lake City because we have one of the best economies in the country. And the question comes down to, were people coming here because we were having such a great economy and then falling through the cracks when they were attempting to find jobs, find work, or get the resources they needed?
So you've been in Salt Lake how long?
For 2 years?
You like it here?
No. My husband's on paper, so wherever he's at, I'm grounded here.
What does that mean, he's on paper?
He's on parole, so he can't leave.
So you stay here at this shelter, or you stay on the? You always go out there.
I stay down there. There's actually people that let me stay with them, and I don't really stay. I don't stay inside for very long because I just like to be outside. I like to move around.
So tell me again how you got MRSA?
Just sitting on the sidewalk my first year here when I was 18. I didn't know it was a thing. I don't know really about
Can I see your ankle again?
Yeah. It used to be.
So it just creates sores on your body?
Yeah, it used to be so much worse. Like my first year here, it spread all the way up my legs. It was on my fingers. It got on my face. Yeah, it was bad. It was all bad. It was not cute.
And you get it from bodily fluid?
MRSA is a staph infection.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you have like any type of open anything on this sidewalk, you're probably gonna get it.
What's happened since Project Rio Grande?
Well, they make it a lot more difficult for us to get around. I think it's a population control thing. Think about it. They put us in here. There's no exit. You're stuck. It was like a cage.
So they close this off at night, right?
Yeah, and you can't get through. You have to walk all the way around.
And what time does that happen?
9 o'clock, and they reopen it at 7.
From 9 p.m. to 7?
Yeah, and they want us this to be safe. But what if we're being chased by a serial killer, for example, and you run into a fence? There's a lot of crazy people out here. I know like 5 of them.
Because I was abused.
Is that how you ended up homeless in the first place?
Yeah. I chose to be homeless. Better than being put 6 feet under. I left my husband in Arizona. So I chose to be homeless to be alive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I chose to be homeless and alive. But I'm doing good now because I got my housing.
Yeah, it's a big step.
I just need to learn how to stay away from her. Hard to do when you got friends.
Didn't have my paperwork.
I didn't know these people 5 years ago.
So you came up here from Arizona, and you were homeless for 4 years before you got house?
Yeah.
So let's examine for a minute what Deanne just said. Despite the fact she's qualified for housing, she's got her housing, she still comes back here to Rio Grande because this is where her friends are. This is where her community is. So maybe even if we are giving homes to the homeless and they're still coming back to Pioneer Park in Rio Grande, that's not solving the problem of drug addiction, drug abuse, drug trafficking, and the visible problems that we see. So on this cold day in November, these recovering addicts were out in the park handing out clothing and food to the homeless, where one of the organizers had this to say about Operation Rio Grande.
You can't create another problem by creating a solution. Does that make sense? Like, this isn't a solution. If you were to find them other places to go, then that would be a solution, right? So our job here is just to like reach out. So we're all addicts in recovery. So a lot of us came from this park, right? And a lot of us still look like we might be in this park. But we're not, no. So what we do is we try to give back as much as we can and try to help this solution. Like,
and this is all like, just your own money, your own thing?
Yeah. So this lady, Camille, she does this too. Carlos is always helping. We've been doing.
So after 3 months of Operation Rio Grande, which could also be described accurately as Operation Harass the Homeless and Try to Disperse Them, there are fewer homeless people here. But where do we go from here now? Should we start giving our homeless one-way bus tickets to other cities? Or should we continue to give them homes?
Cost the good, hardworking people of Utah.
These handouts cost probably $12,000, $10,000 to $12,000 per person housed.
There you go.
Compared with $20,000 a year on the street.
Wait, what?
What we give them is more effective and efficient than the emergency system, emergency room visits, EMT runs, and jail time.
But I feel like you're just giving them a home.
Yes.
Okay, so it makes financial sense.
So when you take the $67 million bill and you combine it to the thousands that we were able to save on giving homes to the homeless, the question is it an overall savings? I think the answer is probably not. There's still more questions outstanding. I'd like to understand what the political leaders have to say 3 months into Operation Rio Grande, and I'd also like to know what you have to say. So I hope you'll comment below. If you like this video, if you like journalism from the grassroots up like we do at Utah Stories, please thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel. And thanks for watching.